everybody. First, let me congratulate all of you who made it through Sunday's kettlebell class successfully. I think there were 17 or 18 of you, and 8 of you decided to stay for a Real Rider afterwards. Although there were no bikes left, there were 8 people who did both the kettlebell class and the Real Rider class, so that was pretty cool. Real Rider's going to sell out every week, so you guys got to let me know earlier in the week if you guys want a bike. But if you have not tried out kettlebell class, each week I'm going to bring a different form of suffering, pain, and misery to those classes. So feel free to join. 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning for kettlebell class, 10:15 for Real Rider. We only have 12 bikes available, so like I said, you got to let me know early in the week. Each class is $20, or you could do both for $30. So let's get to some questions real quick. Another question on vitamin D3. I think this will be the last time I answer a question on vitamin D3. First of all, if there's only 3 supplements that I recommend everybody take. Vitamin D3 would probably be in the top of the list, closely followed by magnesium. Magnesium citrate, glycinate, malate, all those are fine. Anything that ends with an ATE, for reasons that I've gone into way too many times in seminars and past videos. And the other one would be fish oil, assuming that you're not on some type of blood thinner. But those are the 3 big ones that I recommend everybody should be on for many, many reasons. But there was a question about vitamin D3, and is 10,000 IUs too much to take? 10,000 IUs. Every 1,000 IUs is going to raise your blood serum levels about 5 points. That's been pretty well founded in research. Some people will be 4, some people will be 6, but it's somewhere around there. It depends on many things. Your vitamin D3 levels are going to depend on how old you are, meaning specifically your skin, how dark your skin is, how heavy you are, how much body fat you have, how many 23andMe polymorphisms you have, which we've gone over in past seminars. There are many of them for vitamin D3. So if you're somebody who has a lot of polymorphisms for vitamin D3 in your 23andMe genetic report, it's going to be even harder to get your D3 levels higher. So low D3 levels are anything under 30. So let's assume your vitamin D3 levels are 25. Best case scenario, 10,000 IUs is going to bring you to 75. You don't want to be over 100. So there are dangers in having vitamin D levels too high. Over 100 would be too high. The sweet spot is somewhere around 60. Some will argue a little higher, some will argue a little lower. But I will tell you now that if you're under 30, you're going to be vitamin D3 deficient, and you will suffer the consequences of being vitamin D3 deficient, some of which are things like immune system dysfunction, serotonin regulation, meaning you're going to feel more depressed, you're going to feel perhaps more anxious, and this happens more toward the wintertime for most people. Why? Because most people get their vitamin D3 from the sun. It is not easy to get it from foods. So 10,000 IUs is not a lot for most people. However, the best thing to do is to get it measured. So if you take 10,000 IUs over the course of a couple of months, first of all, if you're deficient, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to go to your body fat. It's a fat-soluble vitamin. Your body's going to store it. So before it even becomes readily available in your bloodstream, your body knows it's so important that it's going to cling onto it in your body fat, so that when you are low, it will release it slowly and methodically over time. So again, get it checked after a few months, and I guarantee you that if you're taking 10,000 IUs, your serum levels will still be under 100. Now, especially if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Next, I'm going to talk to you real quick about a client I've been coaching in the UTC. First of all, let me just say congratulations to all of you that I've been coaching. You've been doing an unbelievable job. It's been a pleasure working with you. But this one particular person, I want to share this story. Came to me with real issues with his blood sugar. And we're talking about numbers, 140s, 150s. So the blood sugar is a symptom. It's a symptom of what? It's a symptom of insulin resistance. So I explained to him thoroughly, these are the strategies I want you to do. And I'm not going to go through all of them with you guys, but I'm going to focus on one thing in particular, because this is the driving force of the story here. So obviously we have to get diet under control. and I gave him some strategies for his diet. I gave him strategies for when to eat, how to eat, etc. And he was very good with that. We were able to get his blood sugar down to about 112 to 115. That's not good enough. I want it at 100 or lower. Now, this is over the course of about a month. And after about a month, these numbers should be fine. Like we should be able to get that blood sugar back in balance. And those of you that don't know that, you may be shocked to hear that, but it is true. If you're diagnosed with something like type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, it doesn't take that long for the body to heal itself. 30 days is more than enough time for most people. But he got down into that 112, 115, those numbers fairly quickly, actually within like 10 to 12 days. And then it was only like 1 or 2 point differences over the course of the next couple weeks. So it would kind of go 117, 115, back up to 116, down to 110, back up to 112. Something was going on. Well, it turns out the one thing he wasn't doing, one strategy, which seems like a little thing, but it's a big thing, is he wasn't taking his 15-minute walks every single day and or treading water in his pool every single day. That's all I was asking of him, was to make sure that he was doing those walks, whether it was in the morning, at night, whatever it was. The studies on metformin, which is one of the most common drugs given for type 2 diabetes, to regulate blood sugar, which I'll talk about in a minute. What is twice as effective as metformin are 10 to 15-minute walks every day. That is how important moving your body is. We're meant to move, so we need to move. But please remember that high blood sugar is a symptom of something. It's a symptom of what? It's a symptom of insulin resistance. Insulin's a hormone. So when your blood sugar gets high, okay, it is a symptom of a greater problem, which is in fact the insulin resistance. And I've talked about insulin resistance before and what insulin does and why it's important and why we have to get it under control. But those of you that do UTC coaching with me, you guys know the first thing we do is we talk about insulin and have a long conversation about getting that under control. So remember, all the little things matter. It's one thing to understand the big picture, and when you hear these 5 or 6 strategies, if you're not if you're just picking and choosing what you want to do, you're never going to get to the root of the problem. Most people just rely on medication, and that's why we have such a heavily medicated society, because people are only willing to pick and choose what they want to do, and then they'll say, oh, well, that's not working. Well, it's not working because you're only doing 3 of the 5 things that you need to do. Once you lock it down, you'll be good. And here's my question to you guys about, you may say to yourself, well, if he was doing everything but doing the 15-minute walks, why is he not better? Well, he is better. He's much better. But here's the bigger question. Ask yourself, over the course of 250,000 years that we evolved as a human species, weren't we hunting and gathering and building and doing things with our bodies every day, farming and fishing? And of course we were. It's only recently that we're stuck behind these desks. This body is meant to move, and when we don't move it, we will suffer the consequences. All right, everybody, have an awesome day.